What's going on, everybody? I guess we call this midday crypto talk. What's happening, Lashana? What's going on, Renee? What's going on, Andrew? Mary? I see you sneaking in there, Tiana. Hope you're doing all good out there in Texas. What's going on, John Hammer? Happy Hump Day. Well, today's Wednesday? Wow, it seemed later than that. I thought it was like Thursday or something. What's going on, everybody? Midday crypto talk. This is the first. What's going on, Musa? Good day to you, James. I see you, Bridget. Andrew from the Bay. We'll be getting started in just a second. Yeah, I'm late on this. Normally I do this early in the morning, but I have literally been on the phone in meetings since 7 o'clock my time. Very excited. You know, we had an 8-figure meeting. That doesn't happen every day. 8-figure meeting. I love it when the deals come to play. Not 6 figures, not 1 million, 10 million plus. So today's been a good day so far. Getting things ready, getting things set, but we still must get our education in. How you doing, James? How you doing, Brent? Every day's a day to learn new stuff. So today we're going to cover a couple of articles, and let me stop the beat. And we're going to talk about this one, yeah. I got to get international news out of the way. South Korea. All eyes are on South Korea. What they do impacts us. So here's the latest news. South Korea releases official guidelines for cryptocurrency exchanges and banks. And why do we care? Because it can set a precedent. What happens over there can happen over here, especially if it's working for them. So let's take a look at this article here. South Korea releases official guidelines. The government released 2 sets of previously promised guidelines that specify cryptocurrency regulatory measures. In addition to details of the new real name system to end anonymous trading of cryptocurrencies, the government also published its anti-money laundering guidelines for banks providing services to cryptocurrency exchanges. Let's see. On Tuesday, the South Korean government officially released a document containing the guidelines for cryptocurrency regulations it previously promised. This document details the government's special measures for the elimination of virtual currency speculation, which was first announced on December 28th. In addition, the government also announced on Tuesday its anti-money laundering guidelines, prepared by the Korean Financial Intelligence Unit, an FSC division for all banks dealing with cryptocurrency accounts to follow. So in other words, right now, they need to convert to a real name system. So no more. No more, Lance. It's great hearing my voice too. I can hear my voice for the first time in a year and a half. It feels good. Good morning, Mr. Zaba and Karen Greer. So, in other words, in South Korea, here's what they were doing. People were creating what's called these virtual accounts where you really don't need to have much identity on it. And they were using anonymous names and fake names on the exchanges so that the government didn't know who was doing what in the crypto world. That's all coming to an end. If the exchanges want to stay open for business, they have to implement what we call KYC law, which means know your customer. And I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. I don't have a problem with that fact. Know your customer. So they need to adjust and adopt that system. So they say users who do not have an account at the same bank as the virtual bank will not be able to make additional payments to the virtual bank account, but they can withdraw money foreigner and minors under the civil law cannot use real name confirmation deposits and withdrawal account service. Another thing that was big over there, you had kids that figured out all this trading stuff, and the kids were setting up their own fake accounts and making a killing. So they're putting that into that. No more children in the space. And they also say, if the transaction amount is more than KRW 10 million per day, or more than 20 million for 7 days, or frequent transactions occur in a short time, it should be reported to the FIU, the Money Laundering Monitoring Authority. If the exchange has a high risk of money laundering or requires information, the bank may terminate the transaction. So in other words, like in the U.S., if you start having deposits more than $10,000, a red flag is popped up and you're putting on a watch list. I think in this case, even they're going as far down as $5,000. They want to look at your bank history. If you're used to depositing $42,000 a year, and then all of a sudden you go to doing $42,000 a month, you're going to be put on a list. So that's what they're looking at. What's going on, Andrew, Shane, and Giovanni? All right, let's go to this article. Analysts and bullion dealers notice a relationship between between gold and Bitcoin. And that's obvious. That's not a shocker. But we will take a look at what this article has to say. As cryptocurrencies have grown more popular over the past year, researchers have noticed an inverse relationship between gold and Bitcoin markets. Over the past 2 weeks, as cryptocurrency markets have slumped, financial analysts are reporting even more data about the correlation between both assets. Financial executives and researchers believe Bitcoin and gold have an interesting relationship. Over the past year, cryptocurrency spiked, while gold markets slumped. And when gold prices jumped, digital assets dropped in value. Analysts have seen the inverse relationship more clearly over the past 2 weeks. When the Bitcoin market had its most significant drop in value since January of 2017. For instance, Daniel Marburger, the director at precious metals firm Coin Invest, detailed in an interview that on January 16th, he sold 30 kilograms of gold for Bitcoin. It's the first time I'm hearing about this. People that are selling off their gold stashes for Bitcoin. And it makes sense. I mean, Bitcoin's worth like 10 times gold is. We have been inundated with emails and the phones have been ringing continually with customers asking how could they turn their cryptocurrency into gold. Oh, that's a reverse. Now people want to turn their cryptocurrency into gold. It is an unprecedented time and shows the sway from Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies back to a solid, robust investment in these uncertain times. They're going to regret that. Those who's doing that, mark my words, they're going to regret doing that. Additionally, the research analyst Scott McDonald from Seeking Alpha points out that there is an inverse relationship between Bitcoin and gold for quite some time, but even more so since the creation of Bitcoin futures markets. Now, I understand that. McDonald's Elliott Wave analysis indicates that Bitcoin prices have bottomed out and are poised for a move up in the coming week. Meanwhile, after gold markets took the reins last week, McDonald's research reveals that the precious metals value is heading into a bearish period. Based on my analysis, you should buy Bitcoin and sell gold in the coming week, McDonald emphasizes in his report. Since Bitcoin futures started and Bitcoin markets hit 19K, McDonald notes that the gold was trading at about $1,265. Further, since Bitcoin reversed from the $19,000 zone, the price of gold started rising. So we're seeing a trend here. McDonald indicates that the same market reactions took place this past March and September. He says the inverse relationship may help predict what each asset movement will do in the near future, stating, What this intermarket relationship tells us is that there is a close inverse relationship between gold and Bitcoin. We are going to continue to watch this closely because it is telling us that we should be buying Bitcoin and selling gold as of last Friday. I like that. So if you guys are traders and you kind of want to get a inside look on, wait, before I say anything. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I am just a guy who invests in this space, and I read the news and I give my opinions and share my suggestions. Alright, so with saying that, if you are a trader, this is another tool to look at. Look at what's going on in gold. If you start to see gold start to go down, that means people are selling off their gold to buy the crypto space and vice versa. So that's a good way to hedge. A lot of people right now use, what is that called? USDT, Tether. Whenever they see the markets swinging to kind of hold their value. But gold is a good way as well. So Mark O'Byrne, do I want to continue reading all this? I think this we got the gist of this. See, over the past year, a lot of Bitcoin proponents, bullion dealers, and financial analysts are seeing the tethered relationship between both assets that are considered safe havens. The world's tumultuous economy has drawn investors towards both physical and now digital gold. The financial researcher Andy Hoffman believes both of these investments are allies towards ending the largest, most destructive Ponzi scheme. Fiat. Yeah, I like that. The largest, most destructive Ponzi scheme in history is your money. Hoffman emphasizes that these financial tools are not enemies, but rather twin destroyers of the fiat regime. I like that. I like that article. All right, last but not least, and those of you just coming on right now, yeah, I'm late on doing this because I've been on the phone all freaking morning. Very excited. We had 8-figure deals in the works. 8 figures is rare when that happens. So, sorry for doing this late, but here we go. This last one is survey. 60% of Americans have heard of Bitcoin, but only 5% own. So this I did not know. The number has went up. Last May, I think it was, when I looked at the numbers, only 0.5% of Americans even heard of Bitcoin. 0.5%. Now it's up to 60%. And I can see that because it's kind of gone mainstream a lot. Kind of gone mainstream. So, you know what, Ron? I'm thinking on where you're sitting. Yeah, you're gonna end up getting a lot of that. I've got to see how it finally lays out, but I think yeah, you and Shauna are gonna be getting some of the. Well, I'll know in the next day. You'll probably be sitting on all of that from that deal. That's the best thing about, you know, being positioned. Getting positioned early. Yeah, 8-figure day today. All right, so let's talk here. The survey, 60% of Americans have heard of Bitcoin. 5% own. Did I put this in the chat box there? Let me put it in there for you. All right. So Global Blockchain Business Council and survey monkey-teamed for an appraisal of American attitudes toward the world's most popular cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Awareness of the decentralized currency is way up, but those who actually own the digital asset remains relatively low. So those of you right now, you guys think that you might have missed out. You think that you might have, you know, missed the wave and missed the boat on Bitcoin because you're not a Bitcoin millionaire. You haven't missed out on nothing yet. I already said 2018 is the year of the altcoins. You're going to become a crypto millionaire and you can never purchase Bitcoin just off the altcoins alone. So Less than 5% of Americans even own Bitcoin. So you're in the elite of the elite. Congratulations by being in this space right now. During the second week of this year, 5,761 adults were polled about their attitudes toward Bitcoin. SurveyMonkey, one of the partners, selects from nearly 3 million people who take surveys on the SurveyMonkey platform each day. Their methodology website tab explains, data have been weighted for age, race, sex, education, and geography using the Census Bureau's American Community Survey to reflect the demographic composition of the United States. The modeled error estimate for this survey is plus or minus 2 percentage points. The last time such a large survey was conducted back in 2013 by the firm on device in preparation for a London conference, Bitcoin awareness by Americans languished at 25%. True enough, the first decentralized virtual currency was only about 4 years old, but there seemed at the time to have been sufficient press covering warranting greater familiarity. By 2018, not quite a decade into its tenure, Bitcoin awareness has jumped by more than twice that number, according to SurveyMonkey and Global Blockchain Business Council. And though brand acknowledgement is growing, actual participation seems somewhat low. Nearly 6 in 10 respondents revealed they'd at least heard of Bitcoin, up some 33 points from 2013 measure. More than 5,000 people participated in the current questionnaire. A fraction of that number actually have Bitcoin, be it on a wallet or an exchange. I remember when I set my mom's account up and she bought some Bitcoin for the first time. She was all excited. And then she said something, she was the only one in her sphere of influence, her and my father and all their friends, that owned anything in Bitcoin. And I was at my dad, he had a poker night, and out of all of them, he's sitting there bragging, yeah, I got some Bitcoin. Remember a couple of weeks ago, I talked about how to have a conversation at a bar. If you're one of those lonely dudes out there trying to pick up a girl and you're at a bar, start talking about Bitcoin and watch her eyes light up. You will put yourself way ahead of every other dude in the bar that's trying to impress somebody. Don't talk about how much you have. You don't want to end up being a target and getting kidnapped like them Russians are. But show you have some basic knowledge of this space, and you are put into a completely different level. You'd be surprised. I already said I'm going to put this into practice out there. I want to see. I'm going to be like, hey, girl, you ever heard of Bitcoin? I want to see how that works. All right. So let me continue with this. Let's see. A fraction of that number actually have Bitcoin, being on a wallet or exchange. According to the survey, 5% hold the digital asset. 21% of that number claim to be considering adding it to their portfolios. A supermajority of holders are male, under 34 years of age. Where are the female at? Where are the women at? Ladies, you talk about wanting to be independent. You don't need no man. You want to have your own money. This is the place to do it. This is the spot. You got to be in the crypto game, baby. You got to get this money. You don't need a man for this, to do this for you. Christy Snoddy's making it happen in Alaska. I can make a prediction that she will be a 7-figure earner in this space just because I know her position. Where are the women at? So predominantly males, and under 34 years of age is 58% white. Where my Latina? Where my black? Where my Asian? Where my minority women at? And minorities specifically. This is the greatest economic shift in wealth in the history of mankind for the most amount of people. The sad thing is that most of the people who need it the most don't even know what's going on. And that's the poor. They don't even know it's taking place, which is why in 2018, our mission is crypto education and earning while you're learning. That's our mission. You need to be educated on this space. That's right, Tanya. Where are the boss ladies at? I already know I got Kathy Keene, Calais, India de Jesus. I already know some 7-figure women in this space. But guess what? They're all on one hand that I know. One hand. Maybe Faith. Maybe. So talk about a chance for you women to organize with each other and to dominate. You can. Did you know that 70% of women that earn $100,000 or more are entrepreneurs? 70% of them. Women can dominate this. If you, knowing what I know, you put me in like LaShayna's body, for example. And trust me, I'm not being sexist here. I'm just making a point. I look like LaShayna, knowing what I know, I'd make $1 million in 4 months. I'm just saying, it's a fact. The women got to step up. They got to know, they got to take the lead on this. I'd kill it out there if I was a bad-looking woman. Bad-looking sister, man. All right, let me continue here. I'm going way off track. One analyst phrased the results as basically admitting 10% of millennials own Bitcoin, while older Americans barely break 1%. See, the older population, they want to keep the status quo. They're the ones, we're with the banks and the government and regulation and all that. The millennials are like, screw that. We saw what the banks did to y'all in 2008. You lost your 401k, you lost your savings, you lost your homes, you lost your jobs, and the government bailed out the banks, not you. Why am I going to go down your path? We got to do something new and different. So Bitcoin holders' politics are politically independent by half. Less than 20% trust their government more than the Bitcoin network. Almost a quarter. That's striking there. 80% of people in Bitcoin don't trust the government. Is that any shock? Angela says, teach me. Angela, you know what? I'm going to give some free advice here if you're a woman. Women naturally network better than men. All it takes is a nice smile and attitude. Attitude. A boss attitude. So you got to understand the psychology of men and women reacting and interacting with each other. And I'm not breaking any male code here. This is a fact. 99% of your interaction with the man, you still have natural instincts. The man is the hunter. The man wants the woman. We just have different ways on going about it. We can be respectful about it. We can never approach you in the first place. We have the thoughts. You just may not never hear it. But there's an attraction that goes on there. The woman that knows how to tap into that without crossing the line and putting business first will dominate. And there's several women that know how to do this. I'll give you one in particular in politics. Kamala Harris, senator. She knows how to do it. Even Barack Obama called her out on it. Said, I know what you're doing. Women know how to do this without crossing the line. Without saying, I got to use my looks just to get ahead. No, you don't. But you know how to use that power of the female, that female power. Because a boss lady, when a dude approaches her, and if he knows she's about business, and if she gives the attitude, look, you can't even think about having dinner next to me or sitting at my table if you ain't talking business. If you still stuck on a 3- and 4-figure mindset, you're not even worthy of my attention. Not from a physical standpoint. Just from a respect level. And by challenging a man on that, you force the man to step his game up. You got to come to the table with something. That's why I got my image. It's not about what I bring to the table. I bring the damn table. So a strong boss woman brings that out in a man. And in essence, you end up having a huge, huge organization. Like I said, knowing what I know, looking like a female, I'd be a multimillionaire in 4 or 5 months. It's a psychological game. Don't be afraid to step out there and speak. There should be crypto talks by the women every day from a women's perspective. Naturally, the women kind of want to follow behind the man and let the man lead. But in this space, take the lead. Just by having your face on camera means I've got 34 people watching me right now. If I was a woman, I'd have 500 saying exactly what I'm saying right now. If I was LaShayna's face doing a Facebook Live, I'd have the camera on 24/7, smiling and winking all damn day. Talking Bitcoin. All right, that's enough free info. You women got to step that, figure it out yourself to step that up. And I will later on, I will, when we're established doing what we're doing, I will put a couple of courses together about the women and what the women can do and what they need to learn. Because you got to go a little bit against your nature here. That's why I can only count on one hand some of the boss women in this industry that are 7-figure earners. Like the Calais Taylors, she knows it. India De Jesus, she knows it. Kathy Keene, she knows it. Faith, I can't remember her last name. Faith's another one, she knows it. And it's not really about your looks, it's just your gender. All right, let me continue this article. We're going way off track here. Just wanted to give a shout out to the women. A third of the holders use it to avoid government regulation. 28% see it as a store of value, and 63% see it as a growth investment. Revealingly, little to no discussion about Bitcoin's medium of exchange use case seemed pressing. Holders were 3 times more likely than their no-coiner counterparts to claim they'd purchase more Bitcoin if they had an extra $1,000. But risk remains as bubbles are in the eye of the beholder. The survey continued. Asked about possible 2018 asset crashes, 38% of all Americans and 41% of Bitcoin owners see Bitcoin as a bubble poised to pop this year. That's interesting. These are people that don't belong in this space, period. Some 31% say the same about U.S. stocks, and 27% say about housing prices. Still, the survey did note almost 70% expect Bitcoin to increase in value over the coming half of a decade. A little more than 10% believe it will die out. This is what this is telling me? That there is still major opportunity out there for people. This space is still so new. I think we have 2 to 3 year window of opportunity. Maybe 3 years, maybe. At least 2 more years of a window of opportunity. The reason why I say that, because I believe within the next 12 months, Bitcoin's going to shoot up to the $40,000, $50,000 range per coin. But why is there still opportunity? Because the most people, all they know is Bitcoin. They're going to think that they're priced out of it. And they're not going to understand that you can still just buy a piece of a Bitcoin. That if you bought $100 worth of Bitcoin now, and it's worth $10,000 a coin, what do you think your $100 will be worth if it jumps up to $50,000 per coin? People don't realize that part yet. But those of you will look the way I'm looking, forget Bitcoin. You're looking at the altcoins, the coins that's only worth 30 cents right now, $2 right now, $30 right now. That's going to go to $1,000 and $2,000 in the next 2 years. And you drop 10K or 20K on a coin that's only worth 60 cents. What do you think that's going to happen when that coin is worth 15 bucks, 20 bucks per coin? You're a millionaire. But you need to be educated to know this. So, Number one, this is my prime directive. Because the next question is, what do I do? Here's my prime directive. If you're going to be in this space, rule number one, do not invest in money with money that you can. Whoa, I just got news that another 7 figures just coming on board with us right now. Peter Blackwell just shot me a message. All right, let me stay focused. Stay focused, Brandon. Prime directive number one. Do not invest in this space with money that you can afford, that you cannot afford to lose. So the moment you invest in any crypto, consider it gone, okay? Rule number 2, ROI. You need to work on getting your return on investment back as fast as possible. By doing this, you eliminate your risk. See, those companies that went out due to forces outside of our control over the last 45 days, those of you who followed this prime directive, you didn't lose anything. The only thing you lost was your potential future income. And that hurt. When you're used to doing $2,000 to $4,000 a day and it's gone, that hurts. But you didn't lose because you were in profit already. Return on investment. That way you eliminate risk and you're dealing with house money at that point. Everything I'm doing in crypto got started with $100. All the money that I've got came from $100. So no matter whether I win or lose, I'm still winning. And then the third rule is develop a game plan. Where do you want to be? Where do you expect your investments to be in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? And stay focused on that because there's so many distractions that can get you off track. There's so many good things that's going to be coming out that, yes, they're good. That doesn't mean you have to be in everything. Do you think that Bill Gates and Warren Buffett is invested in every single stock on NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange? No. Just because you don't invest in something doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. You've got to stay focused. You're only working with your own resources at hand, and everybody's resources is different. And just because somebody else is doing something doesn't mean that's for you. It may be great for them, but not be great for you, and vice versa. Don't be quick to try to put down what somebody else is doing. And definitely do not try to keep up with the Joneses in this space. Do not. There will always be somebody making more money than you. That's just going to be how it is. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. You see somebody, I've heard stories. I heard this one guy put down $15,000 and he made $600,000. So I'm going to go and mortgage my house, or I'm going to go get a loan that I can't afford and get $15,000 and put it in it too. And the moment you do it in something that craps out. They could afford to do that. You couldn't. Work your way up. Start small. It's okay if you're going to get in an ICO, you only put $300 or $400 down on it. That $300 or $400 may make you $3,000 to $4,000. Now on the next one, you could put down $2,000. That $2,000 might make you $15,000. Now you could put down $10,000 on something. You work your way up. And a new prime directive I got to add to this list is education. In fact, that's probably going to end up being number 1, so I'm going to have 4 laws here. Do not invest if you're not educated in this space at all. And that's why we, very soon, is launching our education platform. You're going to be able to earn while you learn, but most importantly, you're going to come out of it learning something new. And the best part about it, and what allows me to sleep at night very well, is that what we're doing and what we're going to come out with is 100% SEC compliant in the United States. So you can go to sleep at night and wake up tomorrow knowing that it's still going to be there. You know, it might have been fun making $2,000 to $4,000 a day, But not if you're waking up at 3 and 4 in the morning and checking your account just to see if it's still open. You want to be able to enjoy it. And that's what we are going to provide. How do you get involved in that? Well, first and foremost, you need to get back with whoever is your upline or business partner in whatever it is you're doing. I don't care the name of the company. Whether it was with me or not, I don't care. You get back with them and ask if they are already involved or plan on getting involved. We are not about stealing down lines, cross-line recruiting, or raiding teams and organizations. I don't need your downline. And I have a lot of people that listen to me that are not a part of anything that I do, and I'm going to be respectful of them. Because what they're doing may not be for me, but it's perfect for them. You worked hard for your team and your organization and your influence and your brand. I believe you should keep it because I've been there before. So you go with whatever team or group you've got. You find out if they're involved. And then go from there. If not, then we can have a conversation and discussion privately. But we're still a good, 60 days out. And if you're just joining us, you definitely want to go back to the beginning to listen to what I'm talking about. But women, where are the women at? The women can dominate this space. And they have an opportunity for true financial freedom on a level playing field, that it doesn't matter what your race or your gender is. What matters is your education and your resources. Once you get that knowledge and that education, nothing and nobody can stop you. You'll be able to maneuver in this space like a boss lady. And be able to make more money in a week than most people will make in 6 months. It's out there for you. There's many different businesses and programs that you can do it in. You can do it yourself, trading yourself if you want to, if you learn that skill set. But you've got to get the education. And then you've got to get out there. So with that, I hope you guys learned something new. I apologize for doing this late. Like I said, we were having 8-figure conversations this morning. I'm very excited about what's coming along. 100% SEC compliant. That's all I need to say. Be very careful, because I will say this. And this isn't advice, this is my suggestion. A lot of people have been spoiled now from the crypto space. And with depending on the rules and the laws of the United States and different companies not wanting to do ICOs in the U.S. or do business in the U.S. because they don't want to get registered and go through that process, and they pull out, it is very easy to fall into, I need to jump into something right now. I need to jump into the next big thing. And you jump in because of hype, and you see people out there say, oh, you're going to make this passively. You're going to make 1 to 2% a day. We guarantee it. Oh, this is the next new thing. You got to jump on board. And they're done in haste. What I did was I took a step back and said, you know what, let me look at the playing field again. I don't need to jump. You should see my inbox of the stuff that I get hit up with. At least 4 or 5 businesses every hour. And I could take any of those. But I can tell, this is where the education comes in. I can tell some that were hastily thrown together. I can tell already where some are already violating the laws and they're lying. I can already tell. I'm not going to call out. See, I'm not going to do this. I kind of did it in the MLM space, but I'm not going to call out companies. I'm not going to be that guy. All I'm going to say, if you're educated in this space, you know what to look out for. And if you follow the prime directive, it doesn't matter what you're involved in, you won't lose. Don't invest with money you cannot afford to lose, and get your ROI back as fast as possible. So you never know the intent of an owner. And if the owner decides to do something stupid, you don't lose and miss out. So with that, guys, you guys have a fantastic day today. If you're just joining us late, go back to the beginning to listen to this. 2018, I am more excited about now than I was when I started 2018. And I started 2018 expecting to earn 7 figures this year. And then part of it got derailed, and then it came right back online. We made our plans. So I'm excited. I'm excited for all of you as well. And depending on the news today, we'll see if I do a late night crypto talk, because I'm doing this so late, so I don't know what news may pop up within the next 6 or 7 hours. So if there's anything of any importance to share, we'll do a late night crypto talk. If not, I'll see you all tomorrow morning. You guys have a great rest of your day. Make it a productive day. And get that education. Bitcoin Brandon out. God bless. Bye-bye.